This is the Hollywood Outsider. I am your host, Aaron Peterson. With me today are my co-hosts, Brian Williams.
Yes, I am.
Justin McCumber.
Hey, man, how's it going?
Doing great. And joining us today is a guest host. That's Scott McCumber. No relation to Justin at all whatsoever.
He wishes.
Hi, Scott.
Not that I would claim, anyway.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. How are you guys doing?
Good. And I want to thank you for coming aboard. The first thing we ask anybody that guest hosts, as you probably know, are what are your top 3 favorite movies?
My top 3, there's one that's been on my list for well over 2 decades, and that's Dances with Wolves. Saw that by accident. I was actually at the theater to see Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles 2.
Interesting terms.
How the fuck you get those confused?
I didn't.
Where are the turtles? All I see are corsets.
Indians. I see Indians.
That's not Donatello.
No, Mom took me to see it, and she didn't realize that Dances with Wolves was so long. And so she was going to see that, and she didn't want to sit through the Turtles, so I had to sit through Dances with Wolves instead. And it was well worth my time. The next movie would be Zack and Miri Make a Porno.
Whoa. Interesting choice.
Love that movie. And I had a third. I don't remember exactly what it was. But I'd say 3A would be Scott Pilgrim versus the World. I fell in love with that movie last year. I've probably seen it 10 times over the past year.
Wow. I love Knives Chow.
Oh, God.
Love her. She looks just like my wife, so I don't know if that's...
Who?
My wife. My wife kind of looks like Knives Chow.
The girl, the woman in the movie.
Knives
Knives Chow. Sorry, I for some reason I heard Max something. I'm like, who? Knives Chow. Okay, yeah, she's kind of cute, but I don't know how old she is in reality. But in the movie, she still looks way too under.
She's 25 because
really
when Scott and I and Tyler left the theater, the first thing I did was look it up because I felt dirty.
Yeah, you should. She does look not even barely legal in that movie.
But she's clear, so I could ogle her as much as I want. So it's all good.
Okay.
Well,
all that matters is what's on the paperwork.
Exactly. Has anybody done anything exciting before we get into the actual podcast? No, nothing. Nobody ever has anything. We had the most boring lives.
I went out of town to Hot Springs for Thanksgiving.
How was that?
Never. No. If anybody listening to this, do not go. Avoid it. Stay at home. Pick another destination. It is like the 70s took a dump in the middle of this town and nobody ever cleaned it up. And it just spread and hardened of this fucking place. I swear to God, at one point I asked Krista, did you see us pass through some kind of temporal barrier on the way into this place? Because it's like the 70s never left. It's terrible. I know, exactly. We left a day early, came home, and said we would rather be at home playing Saints Row and watching movies than in this fucking shithole.
Is that bad?
I was so disappointed.
We should make this a travel podcast so we could talk about that for an hour and a half.
Yeah, because in 2 weeks I'll be on a Caribbean cruise, motherfucker.
What's a little better? Where are you going?
We're porting out of Galveston, and we'll be gone for 7 days in the Caribbean. I think it stops at Key West, which is I want to cruise for the Caribbean. I don't want to stop off anywhere, in the continental United States. But one of them's Key West, and then 2 different Bahamas stops.
Oh,
You go to Key West and find yourself a boyfriend.
Well, mostly what we're going to be doing is sadly, and this shows how old we are, we're taking our iPads and our Kindles, and we will probably be reading up on various decks.
Yeah,
wow.
That's what you'll be doing.
All right. Anybody, Brian, have you done anything exciting? How was your Thanksgiving?
It was good. Just went home, visited the family for a little bit. Went to go see Hugo.
Which you'll be talking about later.
Yes.
And that's pretty much it?
That's about it.
Okay. I played paintball. I found out that I could easily have ended World War II by myself. Just so you guys know. I'm that good.
You're like D-Day all by yourself?
Yes. That's pretty badass. Okay. Well, let's get on with the podcast.
See storming up on Normandy Beach. I got this, motherfucker.
Fuck you, Tom Hanks. I don't need your shit.
I'll get back in the boat.
Get behind me. I got this shit.
Well, we are a movie and TV entertainment news podcast. We're going to talk about the newest in movie and TV news, new and upcoming movie and Blu-ray DVD releases. We're going to review anything that recently came out, which this week we're going to review Hugo and The Muppets, which Brian has seen Hugo, and both Scott and I have seen The Muppets. Each week we talk about a new topic that's catching ours or our listeners' attention. This week we're going to go over what our favorite surprise moment from a film is. Think The Crying Game. We have our own little mini trivia game called Stump the Hoe, where we try to stump podcasters. And one of our podcasters reviews a flashback DVD, which is an obscure, little-known film recommended from one of our hosts, which this week will be Scott since he's guesting. So, sweet. Which I really hope you prepared for that. So, without further ado, let's get into movie news. Did you guys hear Christian Bale is calling it quits from Batman after Dark Knight Rises? Which doesn't surprise me, but...
Thank God.
Thank God.
No,
Really?
I'm just kidding.
Okay.
No, he's great. I don't like his Batman voice. I think everybody bitches about that, but it's an easy mark.
I think he's doing the right thing. 3 movies and out. Call it a day.
He's no Val
Yeah,
Kilmer.
it's a good time to bail. Well, to get out of it.
Yes, to bail.
Yeah, I know. I tried. Fucker. I tried to stop myself, but
Why? That was perfect. You just wrote it.
It's time to bail. Wink, wink, wink.
It's time for him to
that was,
bail.
Wait for it.
Bail.
oh, at this point, I might as well have just committed to it. But
Well, I'm just excited that they're making the 3rd one and that all the same parties have been part of it throughout the whole thing. So
No. Two different
Anne
women
Hathaway?
played his girlfriend.
No. I mean in terms of the director, the writer, and
Oh,
the
yeah.
main cast.
You can't get much better than the Nolans.
No. So congratulations, Christian Bale. That's one franchise you did well with. Because the Terminator thing, that's not working
Okay.
out. Not at all.
That's too bad. I really liked that Terminator movie.
What?
I did. I liked it. Everybody else maybe didn't like it, but I thought they did a pretty good job with it. I was curious to see what they were going to do with it.
Spoiler, but John Connor being a robot's bullshit. I'm sorry.
You know what else is bullshit? The fact that he said his name, John Connor, at least 47 times. And then
yeah, I was going to say I'll just record that, put it on a loop, and send it to you. You get the same effect.
that was
Of course, then again, it wasn't as good as the TV show was.
I'm John Connor.
Let's not get into that. All right, moving on.
Okay, I just got what he did. Okay.
Some casting news. Tom Hanks is getting back into World War II mode. He's looking at producing and starring in a film called In the Garden of Beasts, which is about William Dodd, the U.S. ambassador, who eventually he comes to realize that there's brutality mounting around him and whatnot. I'm just happy to see Tom Hanks is looking to do more serious roles because his last few movies have sucked.
Yeah, bad.
Just sucked. I don't know what
But-
happened.
I didn't ever see the last one. What's it called? Larry Crown?
Yeah, I haven't seen that
Yeah.
either, but
I haven't. But it looks like a turd pile.
yes, it does.
Yeah, I don't think many people have.
Yeah. I'm not even sure if Tom Hanks saw it and he directed it.
You know, he did really, really good with that other one he directed. What's that one? The musical or the music?
Oh, That Thing You Do.
Yeah. That's a really good show.
Don't make me start singing, man.
Don't do you know the music from that?
Oh my God, it's too early for that shit.
Yeah, it is. Wait at least until break.
You know, it's funny, in this next one you're going to mention, the Chiklis and Forrest Whitaker reuniting to do this movie called Pawn.
Yes.
For some reason, I thought
Why don't you just finish it out?
Yeah. Way to jump ahead.
they were doing
Wait-
a
way to
film
keep it
version of
moving.
Pawn Stars. Because Chiklis dude on Pawn Stars.
I'm not buying this shit.
$5.
That's the most I can do is $5.
Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Do you watch Pawn
Yeah,
Stars?
yeah.
Okay.
Jesus. Well, in case you haven't picked up on it, Michael Chiklis and Forrest Whitaker reunited from The Shield for a movie called Pawn. Oh yeah, I think somebody already said that. It's about a hostage situation gone terribly awry. Not
I'm sorry
Pawn
for showing initiative.
Stars. I've never seen the show. What is the show? I don't know what the hell the show's about.
On Stars?
I've never seen it.
Oh,
It's one of those reality shows on the History Channel, and it's about this Las Vegas pawn shop. But the guy who owns it is this bald, heavy-set, kind of thuggish-looking guy, and that perfectly matches Chiklis. So when I saw
Yep.
you said you wanted to talk about this. I'd never heard of this movie, but I thought, Chickless Pawn? Yeah, I could see him playing that role.
Yeah. It's about a douchebag, his douchebag son, his douchebag dad. He's trying to scam people out of money.
But
gotcha.
Chickless and Whitaker were fantastic in The Shield together, so I'm curious what they're going to be doing with this movie.
I never saw The Shield.
Oh,
Good.
It was a great show, and I love the ending.
I don't like Chickless.
Really?
No, I didn't like him on that other
Commish?
Yeah, The Commish, and he was horrible as Ben Grimm. So
I will
I thought it
disagree
was
with
pretty
you.
much. I thought it was pretty much perfect.
Yeah,
he was the only
For
good
Ben
thing about
Grimm.
the movie. Yeah.
I would say I really liked him in Fantastic Four. Him and Chris Evans are the only thing I liked in those movies. But I wasn't a fan of the comic book, so I can't say how that compares. But The Shield, I thought they were great. I loved what they did with those characters. So I'm kind of curious to see what they're going to do with this movie. It's an independent movie. Probably won't get a wide release, but we'll see. The next one almost likely will get a wide release because Marky Mark's in it, with Russell Crowe, Kyle Chandler, and a bunch of other actors. Alan Hughes is Broken City. It's a political thriller. Mark Wahlberg is a detective hired by Mr. Russell Crowe to find out if his wife is having an affair. He finds the wife, find out she's having an affair. She ends up dead. I don't know what else happens because the rest of it's a mystery.
Ooh.
Yeah.
How long do you think we're going to keep calling him Marky Mark? How long is he going to have to carry?
Well, I think everybody
That
else
particular piece of
and
baggage.
every actual
Till
news...
all of us die.
Yeah.
Yeah.
News outlets refer to him as Mark Wahlberg because once you get nominated for an Oscar, apparently you can't make fun of a guy anymore. But his name is Marky Mark. I'm sorry. You rapped and you did underwear ads. You're fucking Marky Mark for the rest of your life.
It's like a scarlet letter, just carrying it for forever.
Jason Statham did underwear ads.
That's true. But
Yeah, but he'll whip your ass if you say anything. All Mark and Mark
God, I
doesn't
could-
talk shit about it.
yeah, I got a feeling if he's ever in a club and Good Vibrations comes on, he just hangs his head in shame and walks out the door.
Are you
I know, he
kidding?
might pop and locks right out
Yeah,
there.
he's out there on the dance floor with no shirt, his pants down, his Calvin Klein showing.
Fist pumping.
Yeah, fist
Feel
pumping with
it,
the rest of
feel
the bros.
Dude, he's like a dad of 3 now. He's got tighty whities on. I guarantee it. He's not out there with Calvin Klein no more. Hugo's, is it Asa Butterfield? Asa? Whatever the hell that kid's name
You
is.
got me on that one.
He locked in for Ender's Game. Ender's Game is about the alien war, and the little kid sent to like some military school to prepare for it. If I remember right, I don't remember it, but
Yeah, I'll believe this movie's coming out when I see it.
He just got locked
talking
into
about
it.
it for 2 decades. It seems like.
yeah, but he committed to it. I mean, he's even this little kid is tweeting about it, which I want to know why is this little kid got Twitter, but whatever.
Wasn't the kid who played young Anakin Skywalker at one point supposed to be playing Ender?
Thank God he did.
People have been
There's a
talking
bunch
for
of
years
yippee!
that this movie's coming out. So when I actually see trailers and footage and some behind the scenes pictures, then I'll believe they're actually making this game. Though I'm kind of torn about whether I'd want to see it anyway.
Little Anakin was fucking supposed to be this guy.
Yeah.
Ugh, he's like the worst kid actor ever.
Ever.
Horrible.
He rocked Jingle All the Way.
He hasn't rocked anything in his life.
Except
Except
he's
he's
rocked
from.
with his mom's twat when he fell out.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Wow. That was a little deep.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
Too much, too soon.
Too much too soon.
Oh, sorry. We'll back up.
Oh, wow. Well, with that, we're going to move on.
Sorry.
Not sure there's anywhere
Kinda
else to
feel
go after that.
responsible.
Washington, this is actually interesting to me. Washington's teaming up with Hollywood to make promos explaining how piracy contributes to crime, unemployment, and child labor. They're basically trying to say every time you burn a DVD, which is fairly true, every time you burn a DVD or Blu-ray or anything else, or you steal media, you're putting somebody out of a job, which is accurate, actually. But,
It is.
Fuck them.
That's why you should support Ultraviolet.
oh, shut up.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
The thing about this and what irritates me is who are they talking to? They're not talking to the people who are already pirating because what they have to say isn't going to make a shitload of difference anyway. So all they're doing is going to be preaching to people who are already converted. They are not going to change anyone's mind. People aren't going to suddenly go, oh, You're right. I shouldn't be going to Pirate Bay and downloading all these torrents. I'm sorry. So then what's the point? What is the point other than wasting some money?
Well, I think they're trying to spread the theory that, or not the theory, they're trying to spread the facts around. Maybe people don't realize, which they do. The people that are streaming and burning this.
The people that are streaming and burning and pirating this stuff, they know exactly what they're doing because they don't want to pay the $20 at fucking Walmart for a DVD when they can get it off BitTorrent or whatever else is out there.
They know it and they don't care. I mean, your little 12-year-old down the street who downloads the occasional torrent, he's not the problem. The problem are the people who can do this kind of stuff on a mass scale. They're already well aware of what they're doing and what impact it's having. So, I mean, I appreciate what they want to do and what they're saying because I am an artist, if I can call myself that. I am sensitive to piracy. I hear writers and musicians and artists talk about it all the time. But the people who are really doing this on the scale that's causing problems are not going to be changed or impacted by this at all. So to me, it just seems like it's a lot of mouth moving, but not a lot of impact.
I think that
you do have a certain
comes from overseas, though.
Say that again, Scott.
I think that most of the problem comes from overseas. I think
it does
in Asia. That's where most of the piracy happens.
What were you going to say, Brian?
Oh, I was just going to say, speaking of Justin being an artist, I was just going to say he does have a bit of a Salvador Dali feel with that mustache he's got going on.
God, do we have to go there? This sad, pathetic little mustache I got.
The pedophile mustache?
I got my piano band warming up outside.
You should. Do not work at
Get
malls.
some bags of candy.
Just get a fedora, maybe a zoot suit. You got the mambo thing going.
You can just call me Uncle Touchy.
Uncle Touchy's Fun Time Basement.
Well, back to this.
Or Jerry Sandusky, whatever.
I get what they're trying to do. I don't understand why Hollywood or Washington is actually wasting their time on this. I mean, I hear that there's more important shit that they're supposed to be working on, but that's fine.
I think they're very keen on making it seem like they're doing something. I mean, it just seems like Justin said, it's a bunch of gum flapping, but there's really not a lot of meat behind it.
I agree. I do think that there's a problem, though. I do think that Hollywood is probably getting shortchanged a lot of money because of it, but that's also part of digital media. Right. There are ways to control it better. They haven't done those things necessary, and I think Ultraviolet, and we all made fun of it the last couple of weeks, but that's one of the ways that they're trying to confront it. It's just not the right way, I don't think, in my opinion, but I mean, at least they're taking better steps than they have in the past, because in the past, the media has really been open. It hasn't been that hard to steal a movie, so to speak. And I don't necessarily agree with it. I'm perfectly fine paying for my movies, but I'm sure that there's plenty out there that don't want to do that. I don't know how you curtail it, but this doesn't seem like the right answer, because nobody's going to give a shit, honestly. I mean,
it's like gun control or any other stuff like that. I mean, the rules that affect the people that follow the rules, it's not going to affect them. It's just going to affect the criminals and bad guys, whatever. They're still going to get the guns. They're still going to get the movies and do whatever. So it's fucking pointless. Fucking idiots. They got more shit to worry about. So
absolutely. Well, let's move on to more fun stuff. Producer Roy Lee is talking about rebooting The Grudge, The Ring, and Poltergeist. He's behind the last couple of Grudges and Rings, and now he's talking about redoing them, and also about remaking Poltergeist. Which, I mean, they remake everything else, they might as well. But I don't know how you guys feel about it. I think The Grudge has kind of worn itself out. I think The Ring wore itself out. The first movies were fine. I don't really know isn't it a little too soon to talk about rebooting them?
Yes.
So what another little girl are they going to get to hide behind a curtain of hair?
That's pretty much the whole movie. Both of
them. It is, and it's ridiculous. Episodes ago, I expressed that I didn't feel like reboots and remakes and all that were bothering me, that there was a place for them, blah, blah, blah. I still think that to a certain degree, but god damn. Are there no new properties at all?
No.
I mean, are there no new horror novels being written that could be adapted? Why the hell aren't they beating down, Joe Hill's door and saying, let's do a heart-shaped box movie, or hell, write us a whole new movie? What is the point other than just cashing in on a recognizable name? What is
That's
the
the
point?
only reason.
Oh, it's getting to piss
I'm
me
actually
off.
excited about this.
What?
Hear me out. All right.
You better speak fast.
To agree with you, Justin. This is, their Hollywood's, their creativity bank is fucking bankrupt, and we've seen them redo movies from the 70s. They're into the 80s. Now it looks like they're into the 2000s. So, we might see them redoing the 2010s here in a decade, but at this point, we're catching up with them too fast. They're basically forcing themselves to come up with something new. So hopefully in the next 5 years, we will see this whole rash of new original ideas, new movies, and all kinds of stuff, and all of this rebooting and redoing and stuff from the all these other quote unquote classic movies. Maybe that'll go to the wayside for a little bit.
So you're hoping it self implodes, basically?
Yeah, basically it's they're burning out too fast. They're doing all these, like I said, they're in the middle of doing the 80s. I'm sure they're redoing some kind of 90s movies. I can't think of any right now, but this is, they're trying to get movies from this past decade redone already. So they're just, they're running out of, at this point, they will run out of material in 5 years, and they are forced to come up with something new.
Well, hopefully they'll come want to do one of my books. Then I'll be more than happy to take their filthy lucre.
Wow. I don't know if I want Poltergeist remade, though. That's one of the few movies that I just want people to leave alone. I don't think, unless you redid it completely different, there's no way you could do the television thing, because the channel doesn't
There's
go
no
to
static
static
anymore.
So, it's
Where are
like,
you going to get
there's
the
no
static from?
And I don't know her name, but there's only one creepy
Oh, Carol Ann.
midget girl. Midget
Oh,
Oh,
the
the midget
woman.
lady.
Oh,
Yeah.
Zelda Rubinstein.
Yeah. You know her name?
Yeah.
Congrats, sir. How do you have that on the tip of your tongue? How do you remember Zelda Rubinstein?
Because I'm awesome like that.
I'll give you that.
Yeah.
Well, another thing that they're remaking is Training Day's David Ayer has been hired to write an updated Scarface sequel. So now, in addition to The Grudge, The Ring, and Poltergeist, they're talking about remaking Scarface, which is fine because then all the rappers will have new DVDs to buy.
Yeah. Is it a sequel or a remake?
Or, I'm sorry,
a reboot?
remake. Update the Scarface movie.
Wait, wasn't Scarface a remake?
I don't... Dude, they're all remakes anymore.
There was a movie from the 40s or I don't know 30s or 40s or something like that called Scarface, but I don't know if this was a kind of a remake of that.
Is this gonna be like Scarfacer?
Scarfacier?
Scarfacier.
Scarface.
Lord of my little friend.
No, it's his big friend now.
Yeah. Say hello to my pretty large friend.
My medium-ish friend.
All right. Well, I don't really know if we need an update to Scarface. I mean, that was really a product of its time, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, we need a new Jack City. That's what we need.
I would love the new Jack City, but you can't redo Nino Brown. So mostly because he's in jail. He's actually
I've never seen Scarface, so
what?
no. It's just one of those ones that I always mean to see, like Network or. There's a zillion that I know.
You know
I need
who
to see.
Zelda Rubinstein is, but you've never seen Scarface?
I've never seen it either.
She's the
A
shit,
bit
though.
of interesting trivia:
Good luck.
the word "fuck" is mentioned 226 times in that movie.
Well, that's just not enough.
It's just
Wasn't
not
it
enough.
mentioned more though in the Adventures of Ford Fairlane?
Actually, the one that holds the record, I
Yeah,
think,
just
is,
in the opening sequence.
yeah.
You got the bonus plan, honey.
I think the South Park one is holds the record or something for
Oh, that's
curse
such a
words.
Good movie.
Bigger, longer, and uncut. Hussein's penis. That's all I got to say. Real quick sequel news. Riddick it got the funding to continue. So even though
Yes.
they shut the movie down because they ran out of money, apparently they got some more money and now they're going again.
Vin cracked open that Fast Five money. Said, "All right,
He's like, all right, all right, all right.
that's the wrong actor, but I get you."
I got you. And also, real quick, so by the way, that means that Kara Trace might actually get a job. So good for you. Good for you, Battlestar Galactica fans. Star Trek II in 3D hits theaters May 17th, 2013. I don't care if it's in 3D, but it is coming next year. Or 2013, so a year and a half. Congratulations.
Can't wait for it.
I can wait at this point. I'm kind of tired of them talking about it. New trailers is generally what we talk about at this part, but really, there haven't been any excellent trailers coming out. The best one I saw was a Beauty and the Beast 3D re-release trailer, so we're just going to skip it. But we'll leave up the trailers from last week's episode, so if you still want to check those out, they'll still be on the website. Next
Waiting
week,
for the Little Mermaid 3D remake.
I will actually go see that one, I think.
I would too. Sadly
I
enough, I am a huge Little Mermaid fan.
I
I'd
would.
be all over that one.
I would probably check it out.
Those
Okay,
little clamshell titties.
with
Jesus Christ.
who is so angry?
That's the stash coming out. That's the stash talking.
I don't even
Stash. Shh.
like I told you earlier, Justin. You do not get to babysit ever.
I'm so sorry. I don't know where that came from.
I know where it came from.
Oh, we all do.
A
It's
deep,
okay.
a deep dark place.
Little girl, come watch TV with Uncle Justin.
All right, well that's it. That's it for movie news. We're gonna move on to the big screen where we talk about new releases, box office, and what's coming up. First off, we're gonna review some of the new releases. Now we're gonna review Hugo and the Muppets. Brian is gonna take over Hugo first. So Brian, if you're ready, why the hell should I see this movie?
Because this movie should be considered one of the best movies of the year.
Really?
You know, absolutely. I was totally blown away by this movie. On a technical aspect, the 3D in this movie is just blows away Avatar. So if you were, it's phenomenal. The depth, the story takes place. It's the hard part for this was trying to figure out what to say without giving away too much of this movie, because the plot really follows. It kind of changes 2 or 3 times, and it follows the main character, which is Hugo Cabret, he's a 12-year-old orphan who lives in the walls of a Paris train station.
And that's Asa Butterfield, right? The kid that's going to be in the next game. Okay.
Yeah, and this kid's just got he looks to me like a young Elijah Wood.
Okay.
So it kind of reminds me of him.
That doesn't bode well for his dating, but go ahead.
So anyway, like I said, it takes place in 1930, early 1930s in Paris, and it's this little mystery involving Hugo Cabret and his late father and a robot, and he befriends this little girl who's played by Chloe Grace Moretz, who we all love as Hit Girl.
Yep, love her.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, she's been in some other things, and phenomenal young actress. And she's the goddaughter of a character called George Melior.
Is that French?
It is French. But he's played by Ben Kingsley. And he's kind of a crotchety old bastard who steals Hugo's little sketchbook. And the sketchbook has got he's got memories tied to it because it was his father's sketchbook, and all of these characters revolve around this little they call it an automaton, but it's kind of like a little mechanical robot. And Hugo tries to fix this robot. His dad had tried to fix it, and then now Hugo's trying to fix it, and it kind of creates this little mystery as far as what does it do, what is it right, what is this kind of stuff. So the story is just phenomenal. It's just like I said, you think it's about one thing, it turns out to be about something else, and it's much more emotional than what I thought. It's kind of the worst part about this is that it was marketed just poorly because it looks like it's a kids movie, but it's not really. It's not like it's bad for kids, but it's just one that I don't think kids would really understand. and there's a lot of cinema history and stuff in this, which I think a lot of you guys might appreciate. So, if for nothing else, go see it for the 3D version, alone. So it is definitely one that is made for 3D, and apparently Scorsese, he kind of did a whole lot of research and stuff, and a whole lot of extra, stuff with the 3D. I guess he really kind of pushed the limits of the 3D technology, and really implemented it in this movie. So,
what would you give it out of 10?
Out of a 10, I'd give it a 9.
Really?
Yeah.
The reviews I've read said that he was always sure to put something close to you, so you always had that sense of depth that never lost. Like you're looking through keyholes and through fences.
Right. It's not so much like, oh, look, look at this, picture, and somebody, jams something in your face. It's more like Hugo crawls through this train station. What Hugo does is he keeps track of all the clocks in this train station. And he's running between all the halls and these little towers and shafts and stuff. He's almost like Phantom of the Opera type of thing. Nobody really knows he's there, and the people that work in the train station think that it's this old guy, this old drunk guy that's running everything. But they never see him. They just figure he's there. So, but there's a lot of scenes where it shows Hugo climbing up ladders. And through these towers and stuff. So you'll see him. It looks like he's, 20, 30 yards away, climbing up a ladder right towards you, or go in the opposite direction, stuff like that.
And it looks that good?
It looks that good. I didn't realize, I kind of pat my own back here, but I didn't realize how right I was about, when I called this a few weeks ago, was just, kind of being like, well, this looks like it might be one of the better movies out of the kids' movies that were coming out, but it won't get it will not get that attention.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't have hit the bullseye more with this. It's only playing on like a third of the screens that Muppets and Twilight is playing on.
Yeah, but it's doing really well. It's doing really well.
So,
and
I cannot recommend this movie enough. Go see it. Go see it in 3D, and enjoy the hell out of it. Take you a couple tissues because you will tear up a little bit.
Speak for yourself.
You cold-hearted bastard.
I'd love to see it, and I had every intention of going to see that and or the Muppets this past week, but I am in such a crunch to try and finish my book that unless it is direly important, I have not been leaving the house. But I do want to see this, especially in 3D.
That's understandable. Well, that is Hugo, and like Brian said, he's given it 9 out of 10. So I guess it's worth it. My wife saw it; she loved it. She loved it.
Yeah, I meant to ask you
movie.
What she thought about it.
She thought it was beautiful. She said it was a very sweet story, very moving, and she also said, probably very similar to what you said, was that it wasn't at all what she thought it was going to be. She kind of thought it was going to be like a dumb kids movie. And
right.
She just went because she was going with a friend, and they said, well, it looks good, and they didn't want to see the Muppets or whatever. So she went and saw that one, and she was really surprised at what kind of movie it was, because I guess it's a very deep movie. And
it really is. It really is. And it's like I said, the plot kind of twists a number of kind of a once or twice to where you think it's about one thing, and then, well, oh shit, come to find out it's about something else. And but it works. I mean, this movie is absolutely phenomenal, and I just wish it was getting more praise, and I wish it was just doing better in the box office.
Well, but you got to remember, and we'll talk about that more in a little bit. But it's only playing in a third of the theaters, and it almost cracked. It almost beat several of the new releases. So they're expanding.
Has a higher per screen average than most of them that are in the top 10.
And they're supposed to add it to about 800 theaters this weekend. And a big reason why they didn't get as many theaters is because there wasn't as many theaters available because of Twilight and the Muppets and Arthur Christmas had already blocked a bunch of them out.
Right.
So, but they're expanding it because it did so well, which they need to, because I guess the budget is huge in this thing. It's like $150 million.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Yeah, not a cheap movie.
Yikes.
And I don't really follow Rotten Tomatoes too much, but the last score that I saw that they had, it was like 95% or something like that.
Yeah, it's like 96%.
Is it? Okay, yeah, I knew it was pretty high, so it's just not this idiot that likes it. There's a whole lot of other people that like it.
Hell yeah. And that brings us to the other movie, the other family flick that came out, and that is The Muppets. Now, I don't know if you guys watched The Muppets growing up. I love The Muppets growing up. A lot of people don't know what the hell The Muppets are or understand why they would be interesting at all, because they're shitty-ass sock puppets that sing and dance.
They should be ignored and pitied.
Yes.
Shunned.
Shunned. What the movie's about is Walter is a Muppet who's also the brother of Jason Segel. Don't ask, because I can't explain it. There's I don't know how his
show their parents either.
Yeah, they don't show the parents, so I don't know if he's adopted or if he's just, one sperm got a little sideways, whatever.
Maybe Dad was jerking off in the sock.
I think so. But they always pretty much establish that Muppets are just like people, only a little different. So he grows up, he ends up being a huge Muppet fan. Gary is, or maybe Gary's his friend. It seemed like he was his brother, but they were always together, so I don't know. But Gary and Mary, which is Jason Segel and Amy Adams, they live in small town USA. They're going to LA for a romantic getaway. They end up taking Walter with, because that's what creepy people do. They bring a third wheel. He wants to see the Muppet Theater, get to the Muppet Theater, find out that the Muppet Theater is basically being torn down by Tex Richmond, who's played by Chris Cooper. The only way that they can save the theater from being torn down, which of course Walter loves because he's the Muppet, he just doesn't realize it. I don't know how you don't realize it when you look like a sock puppet, but whatever. So they basically go on a little tour around the country or in the world, finding all the other Muppets, Kermit, Piggy, Fozzie Bear, whatever, getting them back together to do a one-night show, where they light the lights or whatever that song is. To raise $10 million, because if they raise $10 million, they can save the theater. That's basically the plot of the movie. Now, Scott, I want you to chime in whenever you feel like it. I personally loved it. It wasn't my favorite movie of the year, but I laughed my ass off, and I had a lot of fun. The songs are just cheesy enough to be funny. Mm-hmm. Some of the shit was just clever as hell. Some of it was kind of silly, but the majority of the time I had fun. I had so much fun watching this movie, not just because of the nostalgia, because honestly, I forgot a lot of the nostalgia. I watched the show as a kid, but I didn't obsess over it. But I like the Muppets. I just think I like them. I don't love them. I like them.
Yeah.
I walked out of the movie and I was just smiling, and me and my friends were telling the jokes back and forth. We just had a blast. What did you think?
As I said earlier, I went with my wife and her mother, and there were no kids involved. We all went because of the nostalgia. My wife and I grew up watching it, and I thought it was a lot of fun. I felt kind of that some of the Muppet characters were kind of swept to the side, and I understand that there's a very small amount of time, and especially in a kids movie, because a kid's not going to sit there for 2 hours watching a Muppet movie. Mm-hmm. So I felt like some of the characters were kind of brushed to the side and really didn't have a storyline, like Dr. Teeth and his band were just kind of there. But I thought it was really well done. And like you said, we left smiling. We laughed the whole way through. We noticed a lot of kids in the audience got bored with it. They were running up and down the aisles. And,
stupid kids.
Oh, yeah, dumb kids at the stupid kid movies. But overall, we had a lot of fun with it. I thought it was really well done. I thought you could definitely tell that it was a labor of love. It was done by Jason Segel. He wrote it with Nick Stoller, I think. Mm-hmm. And you can just tell that both of them were not only writing it because they wanted to write it for a paycheck, but because they really loved the source material. Mm-hmm. And that was infused in it. He wrote most of the songs for it. That being Jason Segel. He's very talented, very versatile actor, and I just thought that they did a really good job with it.
And
did the vampire show up?
No, the vampire puppet doesn't.
I was wishing that he would, though.
That's such a wasted opportunity.
It was a wasted opportunity. I swear to the Lord, I'll slay you.
I was really excited, especially the casting with Jason Segel and Amy Adams, because they both have that persona where they can play the very happy,
She's like a
positive
Muppet
people.
human, isn't she?
Yeah,
She's
she is.
awesome.
She is so. I mean, it's funny because she's such a good actress too. Because she's done dramas and she's fantastic in them.
She was wonderful in The Fighter.
Yes, and then you see something like this, and she's just so happy and smiley and warm and
Enchanted.
enchanted. Yeah, it was basically the enchanted character all over
Yeah.
again. And
She even did the hands a couple times.
yeah, she did. And when she does her song where she's "I'm alone, I'm a party of one" or whatever,
Yeah.
that was pretty funny.
Yeah, it was
And Chris Cooper, freaking hysterical. At one point, you will hear Chris Cooper bust into a rap, and I couldn't stop laughing.
a gangsta rap.
The gangsta rap. That was funny as hell. There's a couple jokes they kind of drain a little too much, like maniacal laugh.
Maniacal laugh.
Yeah, you have to see it.
In control.
You have to see it to get it. But overall, I had a blast. I really recommend it, especially if you're going with families and whatnot. It's a good movie to see. It's got to be better than Twilight. So
God.
You don't know that.
I said my opinion, which I'm the reviewer. So yes, I can say that. I had a blast with it. I think it's a great family flick. I do have concern about kids, like enjoying it, like you were talking about, kids running up and down the aisles, because kids today are so much about lights, flash, and
Yes.
shiny things. I really don't know if it's going to hold their
Disney.
attention, because they're literally sock puppets, and most kids today, they don't want to hang out with sock puppets unless his name's Sandusky. So. I
Oh, man.
Wow.
Da, 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 tsh. So I highly recommend it. If $10 is the full price of admission, I would give it 8.5 actually, about 8.5.
Yeah, easily.
Yep.
Damn,
Okay.
I need to go see these movies.
You do.
Yeah.
I'll have to
Dude,
break
but
off an afternoon.
Don't go see the Muppets because you're going to bitch about the kids that were there.
Well,
You
good.
That's
better
true. I
off
can
with-
wait till video for that one. But
Yes.
Hugo, I need to go see in 3D because unlike Scott, I don't have a 3D TV.
That's because you're not Austin.
I actually want, or he's fiscally conservative. I want to go see Hugo in a 3D theater. I think I might go see that this weekend. Since
Yeah,
nothing's
definitely.
Very good deal on my TV.
What were you gonna say, Brian?
Yeah, I was just going to say, definitely check. It's one if you've got an interest in going to see it, go check it out as quick as possible. Just because, they may keep the movie around, but I don't know how some local theaters are. They may drop the 3D version and just keep the 2D version there. So, go see the 3D version while you can.
Fine, fuck it, dude. I'll do it.
Do it now. I'll tell you what.
I'll do
We'll
it.
pause this. You go see it. Let me come
Well,
back.
wait.
All right,
We'll
hold
see you
on.
in like 2.5 or 3 hours.
Do they have it in IMAX 3D too? Or is it just 3D?
I think it's just
I think-
3D.
Yeah, just 3D.
Well, moving on to that's what we're reviewing, because we haven't seen anything else, because nothing else except Twilight. Which, if you want to hear about Twilight, listen to last week's episode. I don't want to have to go over it again. Speaking of, Twilight has hit $500 million worldwide in 12 days. $500 million. And this is part one. So this is the first part. Imagine what the second part is going to do. It was number one at the Thanksgiving box office, made $41 million, $41.6 million. So in the U.S. So total in the U.S. is $220 million. The Muppets opened with $29 million, made $41 since the Wednesday opening. That's actually pretty good because it was a pretty small budget movie. Happy Feet 2 collapsed and burned, $13.3 million.
Good. Stop it.
Except
good.
for, I will tell you a sad note. I saw a little portion of news that was talking about the Happy Feet flop. And because of it flopping, there was like 200 people that were let go this week.
Well,
So,
God damn it.
you
Make
know?
me feel guilty for what I just said.
Sure did. That's why I was saving it till I was
Son
done.
of a bitch.
Screw those people. They
Screwed.
made a crappy movie.
Screwed. Wow. All right. Arthur Christmas opened to $12 million. That's not a very good opening, but it is a Christmas movie, so it might carry over the holidays. Hugo opened in, like Brian said, 1/3 of the amount of theaters as everything else, and it made $11.3 million. It actually, the per screen average was second only to Twilight. So
Wow.
it's got a good start, and it can, if it gets some word of mouth, it carries some traction.
It seemed to actually have a pretty big marketing push. Or at least here. I saw it everywhere. I'm kind of shocked that it wasn't in more theaters than that.
Yeah, it's
I
only.
really
Yeah.
think the title is holding it back to it. That's a large degree. That is a terrible title.
Well, and also, I mean, the preview really, it's hard to get an idea of what the movie is about with the preview.
Is it Pinocchio? Is it?
Yeah,
It kind of makes you get a kind of has a Pinocchio feel to it in the,
Right,
in the
right.
preview.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, we oh, by the way, Jack and Jill.
Yeah, don't leave this one off.
Jack and Jill made $10 million. It's up to $57 million. You know what it's not? It's not a bomb. That's the problem. This movie's actually going to be close to a hit. Which makes Justin very, very angry.
I mean, it seems like he would have a big enough paycheck, Adam Sandler, that $60 million wouldn't cut it. I mean, after you take out the marketing and all that, it just doesn't seem like. But I guess it is. God, what a turd.
Yeah, he doesn't make movies that don't make money very often. So, God bless him.
Funny people. They didn't make any money. But it was
Which
a great
one?
movie.
Yeah, but that wasn't really a comedy either. It was more of a
No,
drama.
he was very good in it though.
Yes, anything that he's really good in doesn't make money. So,
Weird.
Well, let's look at Punch Drunk Love. How are you doing?
exactly.
Alms for the poor.
Alms for the poor.
Okay, coming up, basically there's a couple movies that come out December 2nd we talked about in last week's podcast. Very poorly we talked about, very poorly, because I was not prepared in last week's episode. But it was only Sleeping Beauty and Shame, so who cares? But if you want to hear more about them, episode 17, we did talk about those and more exciting topics, including the Twilight review. So please listen to that one if you want more info. Coming up December 9th, there actually are movies coming out. I'm pretty excited. Tinker, Tailor, Soldier, Spy. That's the Gary Oldman, Colin Firth, Tom Hardy, Mark Strong. It's a movie set in the Cold War. And Gary Oldman plays George Smiley, and he's a British spy, and it's a remake. He's rehired in secret by the government. Basically, there's a agent that's been compromised, and he has to figure out who's what. Typical spy flick. I am the only one here that wants to see this.
I want to
No.
see it.
Oh, do you want
Yeah,
to
I
see
want
it?
to see it.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought you guys saw the trailer and you weren't. I mean, Scott wasn't here for the trailer, but we reviewed the trailer and everybody kind of thought it looked.
Scott will see anything though.
That's bullcrap. And I think it looks good. I don't think it's going to do well, just because it doesn't have like the lead actor is an older actor. I think it'll do better overseas than it does here.
Oh, absolutely. I think in the UK it'll probably be huge,
Yep.
but I don't think it's going to do much here. Brian, you want to see this too?
Yeah, I said that from the beginning.
Oh, I'm sorry, I misunderstood. I guess I should go back and listen to that episode, whatever one it was.
Yeah, you probably should.
I was probably so loud in my dismissal that it just bled over.
Yeah, it's true.
Fuck that movie.
Well, next
It
coming.
just looks boring as shit. I'm sorry.
Well, I'm a big fan of spy thrillers, so if it's even a somewhat competently made spy thriller, I want to see it. And so far, the reviews are stellar for it, so I want to check it out. Also coming up, which will probably be just critic proof, is The Sitter, which is Adventures of Babysitting for, I guess, teenage boys. I don't know. It's
Looks hysterical.
It looks pretty funny. Jonah Hill, before he got thin, plays an irresponsible babysitter who takes 3 kids through an R-rated trek of New York. And this is an R-rated flick, so it's not like Adventures in Babysitting. It's not PG-13. But it's basically the same movie with a dude. You guys want to see this?
When it hits video.
Did you see?
Yeah, I'm going to wait for cable on this one.
What did you say? Scott said bad. You want to see it bad?
Badly, yeah. I like seeing big comedies at the theater because I like that shared laughter with people. And I tend to find movies more humorous in the theater than I do at home.
Really?
Yeah,
Because-
it's just something about it's infectious when people are laughing, you know?
Yeah. No, I
So,
understand that.
I even went and saw a Harold and Kumar 3D Christmas, so
How was that?
it was awesome. But don't watch it if it's not in 3D because it's not worth your time.
Okay, I'm confused. So the movie was awesome, or only if it's in 3D?
Oh, no. It was awesome, but it would be stupid not in 3D. Because
Oh,
there's, so many jokes are aimed at the 3D, like the putting the fingers out there and the teeth flying out, and
really?
it wouldn't make much. Yeah, it just wouldn't make much sense.
That
Not
seems
in
like a
3D.
dumb move when you're making a Christmas movie that's you want to sell like year after year after year.
You're just making a gimmick. They're just trying to cash a paycheck.
All right.
But it was funny, and it had boobs.
And it had boobs. Let's. The next one is called Young Adult, and that's the Charlize Theron. We reviewed the trailer, or we looked at the trailer a little while back, where she plays like a writer who returns home and tries to relive her glory days and reclaim her happily married high school sweetheart guy. But it's directed by Jason Reitman, who did Juno, so there's a good chance that the movie could be good. The trailer I thought looked good. I from what I recall, I'm the only one that thought that.
It looks okay.
Just okay.
Romy and Michelle-esque, but with gothy mopiness.
It looks all right. I mean, Diablo Cody is one of those writers that I've enjoyed some of her work, but she can easily fall into far too cutesy for her own good. So I'm hesitant with her, but I liked some of the stuff she's done. Charlize Theron, she could just sit there reading the phone book and I would enjoy it. So, and it looks genuinely funny. So it's another one of those I'll see when it hits video or pay-per-view, but it definitely looks like, you know, my kind of movie.
I love Juno, so it's that same team.
That's true.
So
It's the same team as Juno. Diablo
so it
and
should be good.
Jason Reitman. Brian, you want to see this?
God, I thought apparently I just must think Juno was one of the most overrated movies ever. But
What? You shut your whore
That's-
mouth.
Yeah, that's because you're wrong.
How's it feel to be so wrong, Brian?
it feels good.
Yeah.
Because you guys are a bunch of fucking idiots. But
This means more Juno for me.
I don't know, but as far as the young adult, it looks like it just another one I'll catch on cable. Like, oh yeah, there's that movie we talked about last year. So yeah, and I guess I'll watch it. But it's not, and it looks funny, and she's hot.
Oh God.
But it's just not. It's not one that is going to make me go pay $10 to go see it at the theater.
Okay. What about this next one? New Year's Eve that stars pretty much everybody in Hollywood.
It's a bucket of shit.
I
Every
think
single
Justin just got a boner because it's a rom-com.
I wouldn't piss on this movie if it was the last movie and it was on fire.
It's got Katherine Heigl, Ashton Kutcher, Halle Berry, Robert De Niro, Zac Efron, and every other fucking
It's a
star in
goddamn
Hollywood.
cinematic circle jerk, and I got no interest in that.
It's like the Cannonball Run of romantic comedies.
Yes,
All it needs is somebody to prop up Dom DeLuise, and we got a show.
That's what it is.
Well, it's just Valentine. It's like they just took Valentine's Day from earlier this year and just said,
Yeah,
"All
that's
right,
basically what
we'll
it
just
is.
change the holiday."
it's a sequel in spirit. It's written. It's done by the same director, Gary Marshall.
Yeah. But, I mean, listen to the synopsis here.
Marshall's dad?
New Year's Eve celebrates love, hope,
Brother.
forgiveness, second chances, and fresh starts, and the intertwining stories told amidst the pulse and promise of New York City on the most dazzling night of the year. Here's my question. I've seen, seriously, the names I've named aren't even a fourth of how many name actors are in this movie. How the fuck are you going to intertwine those and make a solid film? There's too many egos, there's too much going on. It's going to be just like Valentine's Day, where it didn't work. It just wasn't cohesive. It made no sense. You know what I mean?
And it will probably make a boatload of money.
Probably.
Actually, I thought Valentine's Day did work. I kind of liked the movie.
Really?
Yeah,
What happened to you, Brian?
especially at the end when there was like that. I don't know if you want to call it a twist or whatever.
Which part?
Bradley Cooper comes home after he's been on the plane with I think it was Julia Roberts, and then
Yeah.
he comes home to his
Yeah.
love interest.
Spoilers.
Spoilers, come on! I haven't seen it yet.
Really? Are you waiting until next Valentine's Day to check this out?
Yeah.
That's what's coming out December 9th. There's really nothing like just hugely pressing, but every week we like to pick one of these as our pick of the week. Like, what's the movie we recommend or we want to see the most out of all of them? And you're the guest, Scott, so what's your choice?
The Sitter.
Sitter?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Justin?
Yeah, I got to go with The Sitter.
Okay. Brian?
The one I want to see the most is Tinker Tailor.
Mm-hmm.
But the one that I'm more likely to see would be New Year's Eve because of the wife.
Sure.
Whipped.
I'm going to go with Tinker Tailor Soldier Spy. But if it doesn't play here, because I don't think it's getting, I don't know how wide the release is going to be, I will go see Young Adult because I am a huge fan of Juno. And I want to give them, I'll give them the proper chance.
Yeah,
There's no shame in
I'd
that.
forgotten that it was directed by Jason Reitman.
Mhm.
And I do like him quite a bit. Up in the Air, I thought was a fantastic film. So that gives me a bit more reason to want to see Young Adult.
Stump the Hoe.
Dump the Hoe is our weekly game where one podcaster basically has to ask a trivia question to the other podcasters and tries to stump us. Hoes being the Hollywood outsider, not actual prostitutes. This week, it is Brian's turn. So, Brian, what is your trivia question, sir?
So it's coming up on Christmas, so I figured I'd go with a Christmas movie themed question. All right.
Okay.
In Die Hard, what was the common surname of the two FBI agents who were sent to take care of the hostage rescue operation? Was it A, Smith, B, Johnson, C, Brown, or D, Walker?
Justin, you go first. I know the answer to this.
I figured you might, but
Give me those names again.
A, Smith, B, Johnson, C, Brown, or D, Walker?
First,
They were-
First Die Hard is not a Christmas movie, and we can debate that.
It is.
2, my
It
answer
is.
is B.
He has a machine
Johnson?
gun. Ho, ho, ho.
It's not a goddamn Christmas movie.
He has a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho.
It ends with a Christmas song. Come on. Now.
I don't
Yes.
give a right.
There's a Christmas
Let-
tree. right
Let's
there.
move on. Maybe this should be a good discussion next week, the week after, whatever.
It's going to be
what are
coming
good
up.
Christmas
It'll be coming up.
movies?
Absolutely.
And I can tell you which ones ain't making the cut.
I'll tell you
When
what.
is your cruise again? We'll have
2
that
weeks.
discussion that week.
Fine.
All right, yours
I'll
is
send an
B.
email.
What is B? What was B? I forgot.
Johnson.
Okay.
Johnson.
And what is your answer, Scott?
It's Johnson.
Okay.
And by the way, Die Hard was my number 3 favorite movie that I forgot. Really.
How many number 3 favorite movies have you had
Yeah.
so far?
That's
It's 3A.
We're 3M, 3Q.
That's priceless. My answer is Johnson because that is the answer. So what we're going to do now is we're going to hear a quick promo from one of our sister, or not sister, but fellow podcast. So check out this promo. We'll be right back because we don't have a trailer this week. So we're just going to play this promo and we'll be back in 30 seconds.
This is Jonathan Corbett, host of Dream Tweet, the game show podcast that tests your knowledge of celebrity tweets. It's available on iTunes. And when I'm not shamelessly promoting Dream Tweet, the game show podcast that tests your knowledge of celebrity tweets, I'm shamelessly promoting The Hollywood Outsider. When I'm looking for what's not going on in Hollywood, I go to The Hollywood Outsider.
And that was Dream Tweets, so be sure to check them out. Only after you check our show out, though. Okay, we're going to give you the answer to Stump the Hoe. Brian, can you repeat your question?
Sure. In Die Hard, the original Die Hard, what was the common surname of the two FBI agents who were sent to take care of the hostage rescue operation? The choices were A, Smith, B, Johnson, C, Brown, D, Walker. And this was pretty easy to keep track of because everybody answered B, Johnson. And surprise, it is B, Johnson.
It is. I wish it would have been C. Johnson because that would have been funnier when you put them together. C. Johnson. Yeah. Well, Brian didn't stump us because he it wasn't really a hard question, really, for us cinephiles. But thanks for trying. Thanks for failing.
Yeah,
Thanks for
I
trying.
feel kind of insulted by that question.
All right. Sorry, it wasn't, some obscure.
Yeah.
Who was
on Star Trek in 1986 through 1984?
Who was Science Officer number 2 in the 73rd episode of Star Trek: Deep Space
You gotta
Nine?
know your shit. You gotta know.
I
your
knew
shit.
the answer to Justin's question.
That should be
So-
more of a reflection on yourself than us. Just saying.
It's 'cause we're
That's
brothers.
not exactly something I would brag about.
Yes. Okay. And if you'd like to suggest a Stump the Hoe question or topic, you can email us at feedback@thehollywoodoutsiders.com. That's feedback@thehollywoodoutsiders.com. We're going to move on to the Idiot Box, where we talk about TV news and what's going on with TV. We will be reading an email here shortly for one of our listeners, but just a couple TV news tidbits. This is kind of, I don't know if it's something that I related to, but I actually had to watch the show. My wife and I watch this damn Dancing with the Stars every Monday and Tuesday, however many days a week this shit's on. But J.R. Martinez was the winner this year, and he's actually a war veteran that really, I don't know if he was so much a star or celebrity as he was a hero. He got facially very, very burned from being overseas in Iraq and whatnot. And he received a letter from Defense Secretary Leon Panetta after winning Dancing with the Stars for inspiring a nation. That's not so much really big news or anything. I just thought it was kind of cool because, for once it wasn't some half-ass celebrity that won. It was somebody who was actually a star of the country so to speak.
Somebody who's worthy
Somebody who's
of
worthy.
being celebrated and not the usual parade of dipshits and D-list celebrities, but somebody actually worth it.
Yes, absolutely. And the thing that really, I dare I say admire, because I don't admire much. This guy,
Just me and this guy.
just you guys. When you see this guy on the show, I mean, and I watched it every goddamn week.
And he acts like he hated it.
I did, and I pretended like I hate the show, but inside I'm clapping. Yay!
It's like just squealing like a girl.
Go JR! I can't believe Rob Kardashian made it. But seriously, what was very impressive is this guy, especially from the first few weeks when you see him, he's very visibly burned. I mean, he's very scarred. He's lost his ear on one side. I mean, facially, he's missing a lot of what most people would consider attractiveness. You know what I mean?
Important components.
According to the superficial world, yes. But this guy had so much heart and charisma and really just such enthusiasm and never seemed down on himself, never seemed negative, just kept everything so upbeat. It just really impressed the shit out of me. And it was really impressive. He had nothing but respect for the military. He had nothing but respect for his fellow cohorts in the military. Never disrespected the U.S. military, even though, I mean, this guy got horribly scarred and everything else. He just seems like, you know what, this is the kind of guy I want representing our country if we have to have one. You know what I mean? It's just very impressive, really just impressive. And I just thought it was very cool to see that he got recognized not only on the stupid ass dancing show that he did fantastic in, but also the defense secretary who, secretly watches this shit.
No, his wife makes him just like yours.
Exactly.
Now, honestly, you watch the show, and I'm not trying to be a downer or anything.
No,
but,
I actually sometimes I like it. I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I like it.
do you think he won because of his scarring?
No,
or
I don't.
Did he win in spite of?
I honestly think Rob Kardashian got where he was a lot because of his sister, but he also had a lot of oomph. But they get there based on the judges' scores as well as people's scores. It's like a 50-50 thing.
Well, no, I just want to make sure that it's not that he won, because he was a hero.
No, the dude he started off a little rough, but he got perfect.
Okay, so he was badass
cut a
like
rug?
Emmitt Smith when he won.
He could cut a rug. He danced almost as good as I do. I'm not gonna lie.
Whoa!
He's pretty close. He's pretty
Word.
close. He's pretty close. This dude could cut a rug and light it on fire.
I got a kick out of it just for the fact that I actually know a J.R. Martinez. So that was kind of
Yeah,
some of the text messages and Facebook messages were kind of funny going to him and his wife here recently.
not the same one though, correct?
No, it's a different one.
Okay. Well, I just thought that was kind of important. Now, the next piece is something that'll probably get Justin all up in an uproar. But T.I., who's that rapper that I don't know what the hell he's rapped. He's whatever. He says he's a rapper, but he's been in a lot of bad movies. He's a really bad actor.
He's been in a lot of jail.
Yeah, he's been in jail a lot. That's his
Starring as
street kid.
inmate 4, 5, 8, 6, or 7.
Yes, that's why they shorten him to abbreviations because he can't remember his name anymore. So used to numbers. But he's calling those that are bashing Tracy Morgan after his off-color gay humor as not American. He basically just went on the record and saying, now here's what he was saying before anybody goes crazy, but he was saying that it's just as much his right to make his off-color jokes or anything else as it is for them to protest people. But he doesn't feel like Tracy Morgan should be persecuted and stop being able to tell the jokes that he wants because it's anti-American, basically.
I agree with that.
You do agree or don't agree?
I do agree.
Okay.
I don't think that Tracy Morgan should have had to come out and apologize. I actually think that by apologizing, it adds weight to what he said.
Mm-hmm.
And had he just allowed it to stay on the stage as a joke, it had the possibility of just staying as a joke. When these people are on stage and they're making jokes about anything, they have the right to make a joke about whatever they want. They shouldn't have to come out and apologize. And the fact that he's doing it on stage says, I'm just making a joke about this. It may be tacky or off color and you may not like it, but he has the right to do it.
Justin?
Two things. First one being you're absolutely right. Tracy Morgan has the right to say whatever he wants, wherever he wants, however he wants to say it. The fact that he's a comedian and he's saying these things on stage diminishes for me the harshness of what he's saying. I don't for a minute take that what he's saying he means literally or he means it seriously. He's a comedian making jokes. But just because you have the right to say something does not take away the right for other people to be offended by what you say. I can say whatever I want. Somebody else has the right to say, I think you're a fucking idiot for saying it. We're both right. I'm right to say what I want. They're right to say what they want. But because you have the right to say something, that doesn't somehow mean that you are immune from the consequences of what you say. For these people or groups or companies that ask him to apologize or take back what he said, if he doesn't want to do it, he doesn't have to do it. He shouldn't feel like he has to do it. But the people who ask him to apologize, they have just as much right to ask him to do it as he had to say it to begin with. That is the big problem with freedom of speech. It's free for everybody, and that's not just the person saying the offensive things, and it's not just the person who's being offended. It's everybody's got the right to react to it and say what they want in regards to it. It's not un-American for people to want him to apologize, nor is it un-American for him to say what he said. Freedom of speech means you're going to have to hear some shit sometimes you don't like, and that means both sides of the political divide.
I agree with that too.
I agree with that too. I do think that it's not fair that people, I don't know. I think comedians really need to be taken for what they're talking about. Comedians are basically hyper exaggerating any given situation. That's really what their job is. I mean, I don't know. I really think that he should be allowed to make whatever jokes he wants to. I don't find him funny to begin with, but
I think Jay Moore is funnier doing Tracy Morgan than Tracy is doing Tracy. But, I mean, comedians, you're absolutely right. They say things in an extreme way because that's their job. Their job is to make us laugh. Extreme things make us laugh. I love Bill Hicks. The guy used to have a bit that he used to do where he said, if there's anybody in my audience who works in marketing, kill yourself. He didn't actually mean pull the gun out and shoot your own brains, dumbasses. It was exaggeration. It's what they do. Come on.
I do. I mean, you know what? I really wonder in today's day and age if, like, Chris Rock is my favorite stand-up comedian. Chris Rock's followed closely by George Carlin. But Chris Rock, my favorite bit of his is the OJ bit, which I'm assuming everybody's heard. Yeah. But his biggest thing was, now I'm not saying he should have killed her, but I understand. I don't.
Right.
Yeah. Now, I don't know if today's day and age he could actually get away with that humor anymore because everybody is so hypersensitive and saying, "Oh, are you mocking a dead woman?" No, it's a hyper exaggeration of a good point. Which is what he's saying is, I get it. That bitch was crazy too. He's not advocating doing the violence, but he's just making light of it. He's joking about it. I mean, that's what they're supposed to do. And it just feels to me like more and more comedians are going to be more reluctant to actually go the extra distance to be funny, because if we don't have comedians that are willing to do that, we're just going to be stuck with a bunch of 2.5 Men type humor. I mean, very, very tame with a little bit of here and there, a little subtext here and there, but mostly really bland humor. I don't want that. I don't want a world like that.
Who wants a forced apology? That's what I don't understand about these organizations. I didn't like your joke. You offended me. You pissed me off. Apologize to me. I mean, that's not going to hold any weight with me.
You just made me think of South Park. There's a whole episode about that.
Well, and I have a lot of sympathy for the gay and lesbian community and the people who supposedly represent them, because there have been so many instances over the past several years of people who are homosexual and they have been bullied to the point to where they have taken their own life or they have been outright murdered. And so for a comedian to make a joke about that, they find that, and I can understand why, legitimately offensive, but that doesn't mean he should have to apologize.
He's not being honest when he apologizes anyway. I mean,
right,
that's he's saying the forced apology is bullshit.
On one hand, I feel like he should stand up for just say, hey, you know what? I said it. It was just, hey, it's part of my routine. Get over it.
He's a comedian.
Exactly. It's one thing if Bill Gates said it or
Obama.
Newt Gingrich or Obama or somebody like that. But he's a fucking comedian. Don Rickles has been doing this type of humor for like 174 years now.
Oh God, when you hear some of those jokes they used to tell back in the day, shit, there's no way you could do those jokes now.
I know.
Even 20 some odd years ago, Eddie Murphy based a whole part of his routine on going to San Francisco and being chased around by gay people going, wee, 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 pull over.
Right.
And he would have to apologize now.
Hey, Norton. No, pal.
All right.
Come on down here and fuck me in the ass. Yeah.
All right. Gosh.
All right,
That's
well,
hilarious, by the way.
that's Delirious is one of my favorite stand-up comedy concerts ever. Okay, the Munsters.
Do you own the purple leather outfit from Raw?
I wish I did. God,
I bet you look killer in that.
Think how sexy I'd look at about 30 pounds overweight in a purple leather suit.
Damn great.
Sex machine. Or a bus, either one.
Grape.
Or a grape.
Like that Fruit of the Loom grape.
All right. Follow up to last week, we talked about the Munsters being rebooted. Well,
Chris.
you gonna be okay?
Where's the
Yeah, I'm
hamburger?
sorry. Go on.
I'd make a sexy grape. The Munsters reboot. Their NBC is signing Bryan Singer to write and direct, or to produce and direct the
So
reboot.
is Fuller out?
Looks like it. Looks like Singer's gonna do it.
That means it's
I'm
going
less
to
interested.
Well, don't
I
say
like
that.
Bryan Singer. I love Bryan Singer, but the Munsters as a property seems like a much more Brian Fuller kind of thing than a Bryan Singer.
Yes, it does very much.
I'm not a Bryan Singer fan. He hasn't really done anything good since The Usual Suspects.
He did X-Men too. I'll give him
Fuck
X-Men too.
X-Men too, and I know I'm the only one in the world who likes Superman Returns, but
Yes, you
those
are.
three movies rock my world.
I like the people in Superman Returns aside from the girl who played Lois Lane. She was horrible.
But X-Men and X-Men 2 were fantastic.
And they were
Well, now he's doing the Munsters. So I don't know.
Interest waning.
I will check it out when it's on, but it better hit from the first episode. That's all I'm saying. Other news: NBC ordered a full season of Grimm.
Yay!
Yay! Pretty
which I
happy.
still haven't watched yet. Is it worth
Yes,
investment of
Yes,
time?
it's good.
it's getting really good. Yeah.
Is it on Hulu or Netflix or anything yet?
No, it's on NBC.
Oh, so
I
is
don't-
it
maybe I'm
available
Hulu, I
streaming?
don't know.
Because I watch everything I watch now is either DVR. or
Even
streaming.
if you don't have cable, you still get it.
Yeah, exactly. It's free.
it comes out of that box for free.
Yep, it does. I don't even think you need an antenna anymore. But that's good because we're kind of becoming fans of the show, and it's definitely starting to go somewhere. I mean, it's only like 3 episodes in.
4, I think.
Yeah, but it's starting to find its footing.
Potential.
I'll give it a chance. And is it Leave
Leave.
Schreiber?
My God, for somebody who loves movies, you sure can't pronounce anybody's fucking names.
never pronounce names correctly, man. I'm horrible with names.
Asa, live, leave.
Leave Schreiber. I can never pronounce it.
He's got
Schreiber?
that Gerald.
Okay, Cotton Weary is going to star in a Showtime pilot about a Hollywood fixer and the damage that job has done to his family. So that'll be coming soon.
A fixer
Leave
like
Schreiber kicks
the
ass.
Wolf?
Yes, Leave Schreiber is really good. Hey, I said his name right. Apparently, when I say it really fast, I get it. Maybe
Yeah,
if I
don't-
stop
don't
thinking
think,
about it.
Just speak. You're used to
So
that.
is he playing a character like Harvey Keitel's Wolf from Pulp Fiction? Is that the kind of fixer?
No, I think it's I think it's like a PR fixer. Yeah.
Ah.
So kind of like Wolf, but more Hollywood. Think of it that way. I don't think there's any dead bodies or anything.
I'll check it out. I like Leave
So he,
Schreiber.
he probably won't have the cool mutton chops like from
No,
Wolverine movie.
he won't, and he won't be doing dead nigger storage either.
Sweet. He was actually good
My
in.
God.
What? That's from the movie. I quoted a movie.
He's
God,
a sign
white
on your-
people are
Oh, an
so scared.
apology.
White people are so scared.
Apologize.
I want to apologize to the
I'm
African
offended.
American
You will
community.
apologize to me now.
Basically,
And I
I'm
better
gonna
feel like you almost mean it.
apologize to Quentin Tarantino because he should be ashamed that I quoted his
Sign
movie.
on the front of my house.
Leave Schreiber was actually really Schreiber. Is it Schreiber? Sorry, Leave Schreiber was actually really good in the Manchurian Candidate.
He's a really good
remake.
actor. He really is. He's very underrated, I think, sometimes.
Yep.
But he's definitely a good actor, and I thought he was very good in Manchurian Candidate. I didn't really like the movie, but I liked him in it.
Yeah, he was good in it.
Okay, well, that's really it for TV news, but we have an email, from one of our listeners, from AAP Stevens, who says, now I'm going to read the whole thing and then we'll talk about it. Good day, gentlemen. A couple of episodes ago, Justin said he stopped watching Person of Interest because it was formulaic. It might be at the time being, but do you think it will never stray from this? And I like how he's going to reference two of Justin's favorite shows. I seem to remember Supernatural and Fringe being both formulaic. I hate that word. In their beginnings. In Supernatural's beginnings, episode opened with a stranger in a dire situation. Stranger dies. Winchester show up, get clues, meet an attractive girl, find the bones, burn said bones, save the day, and the girl then sit on the Impala under a bridge. Apparently a dog barks, and share a brew and talk. But after a while, Supernatural got away from the formula. In Fringe's beginning, episode opens with a stranger in a weird situation. Something happens to the stranger, usually dies. Then Olivia and Peter show up, take evidence or the body back to Walter in the lab. Walter studies the body and comes up with a solution. They find the culprit behind the Fringe event, bust down his front door. The bad guy runs down an alley and gets caught by Olivia. The end. Seemed like it happened.
He wrote that down, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. Seemed like it happened this way almost every week of the first season or so, but after a while, it too broke the formula and made for itself. I would also add to that, Alias was very much the same way. The first season was very much episode to episode, where, there was a cliffhanger at the end, but most of it was encapsulated in one story, and as the seasons went on, it grew and grew. Continuing his email, Person of Interest is a new show, just as were Supernatural and Fringe. I think they use formula to establish the characters, the universe, and the initial setups. After people are familiar enough or comfortable with the characters, then the writers tend to move on with the larger story. That's just my take on it. I hope Person of Interest does this too. It isn't such a bad show so far. Or do you think it will never branch away from its formula? Just my 3 cents on the matter of Person of Interest. Keep up the great work, guys. A.P. Stevens.
All right.
A, I want to say thanks for the email. B, go ahead, Justin.
In full disclosure, AP Stevens and I know each other. He is a writer. He's self-published 2 novels. I know he's working on the 3rd. And he lives relatively close to me. Very nice guy. We've met on multiple occasions. So we know each other.
Is he the one that handwrites in the notebook?
Yes, he actually, yeah. Anyway, he, the difference, and I will say, I want Person of Interest to become like those shows. I'm hoping that it follows the pattern of starting off as a episodic show, eventually becoming more serialized. The difference, though, is that with both Supernatural and Fringe, you knew from the beginning that even though the first season's worth of episodes were so episodic, you were aware that there was a larger story at play from the very beginning. With Supernatural, it started off with their mother as dying, burning to death on their ceiling as children, and then the first episode ended with Sam's girlfriend dying the exact same way. There was an overarching story, and even though every episode didn't touch on it, you knew it existed. Same thing with Fringe. Fringe started off with Olivia being brought in to study these events because it wasn't just one. They talked about how there was the pattern. All of these events were starting to come together, and they needed someone to investigate it. Olivia was doing it. Therefore, you knew that even though each episode had its own mystery, there was an overarching thing they were doing. With Person of Interest, I have no idea if that's what they're doing.
Dude.
The only overarching thing they've said is that this computer system that they're using to get these numbers from was developed for the government for a specific purpose. If they bring that in somehow and do something that's great, I'll catch it back up with the show. But I got really tired of every week it just being like every other procedural show that's out there. I have no interest in that.
When did you stop watching?
I stopped watching in the episode with the guy from Veronica Mars and that Just Shoot Me. I guess he was a gangster.
Yeah, okay. So what I've noticed over the past couple episodes is they're starting to introduce a lot more of his backstory, and you're starting to see a lot more flashbacks, like to when he actually started getting inducted into whatever branch of the service he was in, where he was spying.
Are you talking about Jesus?
Yeah, I'm talking about Jim Caviezel.
Okay.
You're starting to see a lot more of that, and I think what I'm hoping is that they're going to start bringing more of his past into play, that maybe somebody starts being after him, or there's some kind of, like you talk about, this overarching story. And, I've noticed the first few episodes were very, self-contained. Same characters, and same kind of like a setup from show to show, but over the past couple, they've started tying a lot more of his past into it. And I can see it moving into something more like what he's talking about. Even the X-Files, when it started out, was very episodic.
Mm-hmm.
It was just, but then they started introducing the mythology stuff as it went along.
Right. Another difference, though, is that those shows are all genre shows, and if it's a genre show, I am much more likely to give it the benefit of the doubt, to stick with it, as opposed to this show. The only genre element is this computer system that creates the numbers, and the fact that you occasionally see what's going on through the lenses of these cameras. When I say genre, I mean much more deep elements of the genre, whether it's monsters or lasers and shit.
I have full trust in Jonathan Nolan. I think it'll go somewhere.
I hope so, and I'm not quitting. I didn't quit it to say that I will never return to it and fuck it forever existing. It just didn't do what I was doing. If it does and starts doing that, I'm more than happy to come back to it.
I'm going to keep going, at least for this season. We'll see where it goes.
Well, I kind of get what he's saying, because there's a lot of shows where the first season is very much episodic, and then it really
Buffy was the same way too.
Yeah, very much so. I mean, sometimes you need to establish the show to get people suckered in before you can branch out. And I really think this is the kind of show that will do that. So, I'm willing to give that a chance.
It just has a kind of a feel to it.
Yeah, very much so.
But right now there is much better. I feel like there's much better television to be watching. Much more to my taste. Sons of Anarchy, Walking Dead,
Iron Chef,
American Horror Story.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of, anybody watch anything cool? The Walking Dead finale. Everybody see it?
No, I'm behind.
I was going to watch it today. I was going to watch it today, but I got caught up to that episode, but I haven't watched the finale yet. And I'm glad it's finally going somewhere.
Go ahead, Brian.
Yeah, I was just going to say, I mean, Rick's death is just probably the most gruesome TV stuff that I've seen in a while.
I was about to get so fucking angry.
I would punch you in the face through my microphone. But
I couldn't believe Shane shot him too.
I read a synopsis of this.
None of that's
season.
true, by the way. Don't turn the show off. Go ahead.
I had read a synopsis of the season up to this point, which was somebody walks, somebody cries, and you might see a zombie. And so far that has been true, but the second to the last episode of the half season was really, really good. A lot of revelations came out. A lot of people talked about things that needed to be talked about. And it seems to be picking up steam again right before they're going to yank it away again.
I will tell you, and I don't want to spoil it. Obviously, you guys haven't seen it, and I'm sure a lot of people have DVR'd it and haven't watched it yet, but Brian, you and I have seen it. Without spoiling it, I thought it was a phenomenal ending. I really loved how it ended.
I did. Yeah, I did too. I really did.
Now, I don't want to spoil anything, obviously, but I will tell you that it sets it up so that come, what is it, February, January, February.
February.
Yep, come February when the new episodes come back on, it's definitely at a place where I want to see what happens next. Because it got a little slow there in the couple episodes, but it definitely ratcheted back up at the end.
Well, I was just like, find the damn girl already. I was so tired of that.
Now, Aaron, have you continued to watch American Horror Story?
I have not. That's basically the one that's on my DVR queue. Mm-hmm. So I'm
it's
way
good.
behind.
Yeah, it's strange in that it started off with it seemed like it really wanted to be more horror-ish, and now it's kind of transitioned into creepy instead of horror. My only complaint is that they're really giving you a lot of info about the house and what's going on, and I kind of think it's to the detriment of the show. I wish they had retained more mystery.
Katie loves it. That's my wife. She sits there and watches it with her friend that lives in some other city. I don't remember what. And they text back and forth to do the whole show. And, oh my God, I can't believe they did that. Oh, I can't believe she said that. And she said what she likes about it is that they will answer stuff in an episode, but there's always more questions that are brought up.
Yeah.
And
I'm hoping that there's I'm hoping that there's more to that house, and there has to be, than what we've seen so far. But it is one of the most unusual shows on television, and I'm glad to still be watching it.
It's a true original from everything. The couple episodes I've seen, it's really original. I mean, it's very Twin Peaksy, but it's very original.
I'm just afraid that we'll get kind of far into this show and then they're going to cancel it because it just doesn't. They take too long to start. To kind of get it moving.
Mm-hmm. That could
So
happen.
didn't they already order a season 2?
Yeah, they already ordered it.
Yeah. I know they've already ordered it, but things happen.
Yeah, they could go south pretty quick.
Let's just say people kind of forget about it, and they, taste change by the time next year, whenever it comes on, whatever the case is, and it doesn't start out well. They just say, well, let's just shit can the rest of the season or something. I don't know. It's just anytime I get really into a show, that seems to be what happens. So,
and I will tell you, I watched the Sons of Anarchy season finale, part 1 of the season finale, whatever they're
I
calling
haven't
it.
seen it yet.
Oh,
yeah, I'm waiting till part 2 or whatever.
okay. Well, I will I'm not going to ruin that one either. I'm not going to spoil anything. But I will tell you, they are really finally getting into I don't know if you guys know the history, but originally Kurt Sutter, who created the show, his original intent was to make the show very reminiscent of Hamlet, right?
Yes,
and to
very
follow
much.
the creative arc of Hamlet. Now, I actually know Hamlet very well. I don't know if you guys know it, but Wikipedia
Yep, yes.
if you need to. I'm glad to see that they're finally following. He's finally following suit with that, because if you ask me, he's veered way off that track. I think it's been hinted at here and there, but they kind of keep going away from it, coming back, going away from it, coming back. And it really seems like it's back into focus, like hugely into focus. So I was really excited to see that get ratcheted up.
And Scott, you still have not watched Sons of Anarchy, have you?
I've not ever watched it, and to be honest, I heard the show creator Sutter on Plus One with Kevin Smith, and I found him to be kind of a douche, and I just really didn't want to watch it after that.
Don't judge a show based on him. It is a fantastic show.
Yeah, and he is totally a biker. I mean, he fits the persona. My uncle's a biker, and trust me, Kurt Sutter, he could fit in. He really could. So he's writing about what he knows. And he plays, was it Otto? Is that who he plays?
Yeah,
He plays Otto on the show.
Almost unrecognizable.
Yeah. And he's not a bad actor, surprisingly.
It's in my Netflix queue.
Oh, you got to check it out.
He played
man.
the same type of character, though, in The Shield.
Yeah.
He was a showrunner on that too, wasn't he?
No.
Or
I
he
thought-
was
I
the,
didn't-
he was the writer or sometimes director or whatever on there.
Yeah.
Yeah. This is his first crack at his own show. But he said before he thinks the show should run 7 seasons. I don't know if it has enough steam based on where they are right now to carry out 3 more years, basically. But honestly, they could go 1 more year and end it, and I think it'd be perfect. But we'll see what happens. It might be one of those shows that outstays its welcome. Okay, with that, we're going to go on. Or the Welcome to Alcatraz promo, I don't know if anybody saw it, but I caught that, and it looks kind of interesting. It's got Jose Garcia from Lost in it, and Sam Neill. And it looks like they're doing something on Alcatraz. I'm not really sure. Kind of experiments, and it looks like a very sci-fi genre show. It's Justin,
Yeah, it's
you
like,
might like it.
4400 meets, Alcatraz.
Yeah, so it
Or
looks
do you
like
guys even know what the 4400 is?
I know what it is. It was the
Yeah,
USA
it lasted,
show.
what, about 3 episodes?
Yeah, it wasn't very long.
But
And
the
anything
4400 was
with-
4 years.
Was it really that long?
Yes.
Wow.
Wow. Somebody forgot to hit the eject button on that one there. 'cause
It was a turd.
I liked it.
I liked
Oh,
the
yeah.
first season because it was only like 6 episodes, or like only a few episodes the first year. But
as
I
much
did
as I
wanna-
like him, anything Sam Neill touches pretty much gets canceled. So I don't expect it to last long.
I
no.
just watched In the Mouth of Madness the other night. That was good.
Oh, that's a good little John Carpenter movie when John Carpenter was a director,
Yeah.
and not
If
just
I'm going to watch a Sam Neill horror movie, though, I'm going to go ahead and watch
Event
Horizon.
Horizon. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good one.
good call.
But no, I wanted to mention real quick on my website, I put a post yesterday with my top 5 science fiction TV series of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So if anybody's interested in seeing how I rank sci-fi television, you can head over there. And since this is a TV segment, I thought that would be an appropriate place to mention that and see if people agree or disagree with my ranking.
Is that justinmccumber.com?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
If Babylon 5's on there, it's already invalid.
Just have to go and check it out.
I'm sure number one is Star Trek or Lost.
Lost isn't listed.
Seriously?
Lost is not a sci-fi show, and I explain it in the post.
God.
It's a genre show, but
It's a genre
not
show, but it is
science
not
fiction.
science fiction.
I think that might be debatable. That'd be another episode. We'll have that one of these days. We'll have a topic on that.
We need to have a
Yeah.
Lost episode.
Not today.
You're
Not today.
just gonna have a
I'll
very
be on
special
vacation
episode.
that day.
Yeah. Brian doesn't want to participate in any more discussions on that show.
That's fine. I don't want Brian here
Fuck
anyway.
no. Good.
Okay, let's go to the couch where we talk about DVD and Blu-ray. We're going to talk about just basically what's coming out, so you guys have an idea what you can go buy, and then what our purchase of the week, what we would run, what would be the one that we would buy if we could only buy one. December 6th has actually a lot of releases because we're getting ready for Christmas. The Hangover Part 2 is coming out. Mr. Popper's Penguins. That's the Jim Carrey family movie. I need a paycheck movie. Cowboys and Aliens. That's Harrison Ford looking cranky with Daniel Craig looking crankier. The Help, which is about white women and black women in Brian's part of the country. The Debt, which is it's basically like a 30 years from now spy movie and the past and the present, and it's all combined and trying to figure out a big mystery. Big Love, 5th season, which I believe is the final season. Never watched the show. And then Simpsons season 412, whatever the hell it is. What would you guys
Has
pick?
it been around that long?
It feels like it. Jesus Christ. You've
It needs
had
to go away.
yeah, it does at some point. Scott, what's your pick? Of all those, what would be the one you had to buy?
Well, probably The Hangover Part 2, but it does piss me off that the digital copy is ultraviolet,
God damn, again.
which irritates me to no end because I like putting them on my computer in my iTunes and having them. I can stream it to my Apple TV, and yeah, it's a big pain in the ass.
I will
but,
buy it through iTunes then. I will not buy the physical copy.
Yeah, I'm probably on board with you.
What is your choice, Justin?
I really want to say The Hangover Part 2, but if I had to go, I'm a genre boy. I gotta go Cowboys and Aliens.
Okay. Brian?
Yeah, I'll go with Cowboys and Aliens. I just haven't seen it, so if I was going to buy one, that would be it.
I would say I've seen Hangover Part 2 and Cowboys and Aliens, so I'm probably going to go Cowboys and Aliens because it actually isn't a bad movie. And Hangover's not a bad movie either, but comedies, yeah, I don't buy them very often because how many times can you watch the same jokes? And I don't think that one holds as well as the first Hangover. Although...
But it's got Bradley Cooper.
It does, and he's the sexiest man alive.
Yes.
Because that Galifianakis makes me laugh my ass off. I don't care what he's doing.
He does. I've got a demon in me. All right, we've come to Flashback DVD. That's where one of our podcasters does a unknown, little known or obscure movie. Kind of just hopefully when you leave the show, you got something you can take with you and go watch. This week, since Scott is a guest, he's going to do our flashback. So Scott, you got 90 seconds to sell your movie.
90 seconds. Well, I don't know if it's obscure or not, but it's a movie came out 90 called Book of Love. And it's a comedy, takes place in 1956, I want to say. Senior year of high school, a guy moves to town, kind of hangs out with the nerds, and he's in love with the popular girl, of course, who has a boyfriend whose name is Gooch, I believe. He's kind of the bully. My memories of this movie... Yeah, hey, Gooch, what's up? Anyway, my friend Michael and I went to the theater to see this, and we were two guys sitting in one row, and the only other people in the theater were two girls sitting up from us, and we laughed our asses off the whole time, and they didn't even chuckle. And a lot of that's because the way I would call it is it's American Pie before American Pie. It's aimed squarely at adolescent boys. It's about the male teen experience, and it has a really mushy center to it. It has a very good heart. And it just always makes me laugh every time I watch it.
That's pretty good.
Now, who stars in that?
Isn't like Keith Coogan or something in that? I mean, the guy, he was in like Toy Soldiers and...
Keith Coogan is in it. He's better known as the big brother in Adventures in Babysitting.
Yeah, that guy.
And
For some reason, I thought you were talking about McDreamy.
Don't Tell
or
Mom the
Steamy
Babysitter's Dead. There's also a
That's Can't
kid
Buy
that-
Me Love.
That's right.
The main kid in its name is Chris Young. That's his real name. He was in The Great Outdoors, I believe. He played the older son in The Great Outdoors. with John Candy and Dan Aykroyd. He's not in anything recent. Quite a few people. John Cameron Mitchell's in it. He plays a character. He's actually an indie director now. Makes a lot of I hate to say gay films, but films that are aimed at the gay community, being a gay
Those would be
man
gay
himself.
films. Yeah.
And
Don't apologize.
And I know it sounds really boring, but it's just really, really good. It's kind of a car movie in a way. Kind of, it has the feel of the 50s. It was actually directed by I want to say Lynn Shay, but that's not the right last name, and I can't see his name. Oh, Robert Shay, who was the producer of all the Nightmare on Elm Street movies.
Oh,
as
yeah.
far as I
New
know.
Line producer. Yep.
This is the only movie that he ever directed.
Oh, very cool.
And it was really, really good. It's on Amazon. They've got 3 copies left. And
Hurry up.
Hurry
It
up,
is
yeah.
not on Netflix.
If that sells out, you know it's because of this podcast, just so you know.
Damn Skippy.
You sold 3 copies of that shit.
But anyway, it's just got a really good heart and it's really funny. And if you like things like American Graffiti or anything like that, I would recommend watching it.
Okay. And that's Book of Love, and that's Scott McCumber's flashback of the week. I'm assuming that's not on Blu-ray.
It is not.
Okay. Well, with that, we're going to go into our final section of the podcast, which is From the Outside In. That's our weekly topic where we talk about either what listeners or what we are interested in for the week. This week it's going to be kind of a shorter one because we had a couple reviews, so we're tightening the show down a little bit. But it's basically what we're going to talk about is what is our favorite movie surprise moment. And I'm thinking along the lines of The Crying Game, where you found out, oh, there's a wiener, Which surprise or what movie surprised you the most, I guess you could say. And we'll start with Scott once again because you are the guest. Guests always go first. So what was your most surprising movie moment?
I'm
Your
going
favorite
for the
surprise?
obvious and easy, and it's The Sixth Sense.
Really?
Son of a bitch.
Yeah, great twist.
Now, what about that makes it your favorite? Just because you never saw it coming?
Because I can remember sitting there with my ex-wife in the theater, and when you could just see the whole audience putting it together, it's showing these flashbacks, and all of a sudden it's just this collective, oh, and just that kind of goosebump feeling that you got, and thinking, holy crap, and just how ingenious it was, and it just, I liked
and also
that. It
the
really
fact
shocked me.
Also, the fact that basically he tells you throughout the whole movie with little clues.
Oh, it's obvious. Everything
Right,
he touches
like-
is red. Nobody ever talks back to him except for the little boy, and it's just that it was so obvious, but it was slapping you in the face and you just didn't even see it. And it was just ingenious, and shamefully he went downhill after that, except for Unbreakable. Which is phenomenal. But
Do you funny Sixth Sense story is everybody in the world, including myself, saw that movie and was like, holy shit, at the end, just like you're talking about. Mm-hmm. So I rented it, rented it. My mom rarely gets to the theater anymore. Mm-hmm. So I want to watch it with her, and I'm like, you'll never guess this one. Because she's one of those people where she's watched so many mystery movies, read so many mystery novels and everything. She just always gets it. And I'm like, well, she ain't going to get this one because I didn't get it at all. Sit down with her, watching it. She avoided everything. My mom doesn't read the entertainment news and none. She had no idea. She's watching it. 10 minutes in, after seeing Bruce Willis, she turns to me and she goes, nobody's talking to him. Is he dead? Swear to God.
You're like, fuck you.
No, I mean, I think I called her dirty whore. I don't know what I called her, but I was so pissed off. I'm like, are you kidding me? She goes, is he? Oh, I'm not telling you.
They just turn it off.
Yeah.
At that
At that point, she's like, why even watch this stupid movie?
I dropped the mic and walk out of the room.
But seriously, some people are just really good at that. They can pay attention to that kind of detail. I'm not one of them. I mean, I didn't get that nobody else was talking. I just figured everybody's really rude in this movie.
Well, I always assume that a lot of the conversations happened before you showed up, as a viewer. Like, there's a part where he's sitting in the living room with the kid's mom, and it looks like they've been sitting there talking.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And then the scene where he shows up at dinner, his wife's ignoring him because she's pissed off, is what you think.
Yeah.
It was just handled really well.
It was. The best directing he's done, by far.
Yes.
I
Justin,
can't say it by far. Unbreakable. I feel like Unbreakable is the sibling that constantly gets overshadowed
I love
by
Unbreakable.
the older sibling, yet is completely deserving of praise in its own right. I think Unbreakable for me I like it better than The Sixth Sense. I don't think that the surprise ending that that you get at the end is nearly as powerful, but as a film, I think it's just as good, if not better, than The Sixth Sense, and I wish it got more praise and more conversation than just amongst, genre fans and film junkies.
I wish he would make the sequel he's always talked about.
I do too, and unfortunately, M. Night Shyamalan really he is a case of diminishing returns. I don't know what the fuck happened with him. I went to go see The Village, and luckily I hadn't had that movie spoiled for me. And when the reveal was made, I was pretty surprised when they discover what the whole twist
the one
is.
That's the one I figured out in like 20 minutes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I don't know if this falls into the same category, but at the very end of Blair Witch, when the camera sweeps around the corner and you see that guy standing in the corner, when that occurred, I just about jumped out of my own skin, and I know I screamed, just like everybody in the theater did, because early on in the movie, they talk about how these little kids were put into the corner by this guy before he killed them. Mm-hmm. And when the camera sweeps around, it lasts probably maybe a second. But within that second, you see the image, you recall that information, you know what's about to happen, and then it just drops.
Yeah, and you get a chill runs through your whole body.
I freaked the fuck out.
And it was the only scary part of the whole movie.
My wife to this day does not go to horror movies because that movie scared her so much.
I hated that damn movie.
I liked it.
I loved it. Even on second and third viewings, parts of it still got to me.
It was an hour and a half of walking and headache with 10 seconds of being scared at the very end.
There were a lot of moments that were really freaky, and I think they did a great job of doing it all through sound and the acting and no CGI, none of your typical tricks to get the scares out. But another one, a real quick one that I loved, and I'm probably the only one who did, was at the very end of the second Pirates of the Caribbean movie when oh God, what was that captain's name?
Barbossa?
Played by Jeffrey Rush. When Barbossa comes walking down the stairs and you see who it is that has been kind of you see only bits and pieces of him, and suddenly he's revealed. I loved that ended the way that it did, because it really gave me that much more desire to see the third film and go, oh shit, this guy's back. What does that mean? So I loved it.
Yeah, that was good.
What about you, Brian?
Sixth Sense ranks up there. The Usual Suspects for me was one.
Oh, Kaiser says that, yeah.
Yeah. He's telling the story of what's going on for, the whole hour and a half, hour 45, whatever it is. And then all of a sudden, it not in the way that with the Sixth Sense where they didn't really tell you everything, but they're telling you that he picks up all these little things that's going on around him to create the story. And I'm sorry, the movie's 15, 16 years old, and if you haven't seen it, then fuck off. But the fact, then, as they let him go after his story, quote unquote, checks out, and he's walking off with the little limp, and then all of a sudden he just starts walking fine and gets in the car with his right-hand man is Kobayashi or something like that. So that was one. And of course, one we've mentioned quite a bit in the last few weeks, and that's The Mist.
Yes.
Ugh.
Yes.
Oh, that's a good
Don't
movie.
even get me started.
It's a good show.
Right. And, it seems like more and more people like this show, and Justin, apparently you're the only one who
Same
doesn't.
person. I'm used to it.
I get why he doesn't like the ending to The Mist, because it isn't a very happy it's very contemptible ending. It really is. I mean, I think it's designed to make you angry. It's definitely not designed to make you feel anything other than either anger or sadness.
But any movie that that draws out that kind of that strong of an emotion.
Yep, that's a plus.
Whatever that emotion is, happiness, sadness, fear, whatever, then that to me qualifies as a good movie.
Absolutely.
Even if I really like, that movie, I just didn't like that movie. I didn't like the subject matter or the way story was told, whatever. But if there is something about that movie that brings out that kind of where I would just want to bitch about it to somebody or praise about it to somebody, then by proxy, that to me that's a good movie. That's what that movie is kind of designed to do. So to me, that's a success. And even the fact that you hate it, it's almost like you got to say
an intense emotional reaction from me.
Absolutely. Right.
Well, I'm going to, since everybody else has got like several, the top three that I had, I basically listed them as three, and if everybody just would name one, I was going to name one, but since everybody threw out several, I'm going to fuck them. One, Shawshank Redemption, that reveal at the end just blew me away. Honestly, I didn't.
Which one? There were several.
The reveal that his escape.
Ah,
when they pull the poster down, and then basically everything that the whole movie had been building up to, I'm like, holy shit! I didn't see that coming. That was really well done. One of my favorite surprises, which isn't a huge surprise as much as it was like, oh, I did not even think about it, was Tim Roth in Reservoir Dogs. When it's revealed that he's actually the cop. After everything I'd been watching, I mean, that never even occurred to me that he was a cop, that he was an undercover cop. And when he just basically blows Michael Madsen away, I'm sorry if I spoiled that one. A part of me,
sorry.
My jaw hit the floor because that movie was a pioneer to that kind of crime flick, which a billion of them came after that. So now it seems pretty repetitive. But at the time, that was very new, and that just took my breath away. But my favorite surprise moment from any movie ever, I thought about this all week long. My favorite one is from Seven. What's in the box?
Man.
What's in the box?
What's in the box?
I saw
that. I remember going to the theater and going back to see that, and because only for the ending, from the part where Kevin Spacey shows up. Because from the minute he shows up, that movie becomes something completely different, and he owns every second he's in it. And the fact that you can see everything working in his head, and you're trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. I don't get it. There's something going on, and that ending's coming up, and then you see him freaking out, and what's in the box, and he starts to put it together, and then you realize, oh, sweet little Gwyneth Paltrow's head's in there. It's just. That's by far my favorite surprise.
You know which one we didn't mention?
What?
I Am Your Father.
Oh, seriously, you're gonna make Star Wars in here, aren't you?
Well, fuck, man. The first time I saw that movie and that reveal comes up on the big screen, the collective intake of oh shit.
There's no surprise in the Matrix, right? Because I want to make sure before we.
Right.
Oh yeah, I guess there is at the end, but don't count that one.
Yeah, I mean, there's all sorts of stuff. I will tell you though, one surprise moment that's not from a movie, but from probably the most shocking thing that I maybe have ever seen on a TV show is on the last episode of the first season of 24.
Yes.
When his wife gets blown away. When she got shot, my wife and I almost fell off the couch, just blown away.
Probably one of the ballsiest television moments of all time.
Yeah, I mean, in the end run, everything should be fine. Let's go ahead and cue the slow Aerosmith and the waving flag, only for his wife to get blown away. Oh my god!
Yeah, that basically changed the course of that show. Really.
Yeah.
Good choices. Anything else anybody want to throw in there into the mix?
I'm good.
Oldie but goodie. The original Planet of the Apes.
Yes.
Damn dirty apes.
When the
Dirty Apes.
Statue of Liberty scene.
Mm-hmm.
That was great.
I thought you were talking about the Lincoln.
Oh, very funny.
Sorry.
Very funny.
Well, that's a close second.
Easy to get confused. Now, that would have been even better if they would have played Good Vibrations at the end of that. Really, to bring this full circle.
Feel it.
All right. Well, that's from the outside in. Short topic this week. Next week, we are going to, me, Justin, and Brian are going to be back with our favorite Christmas movies. I'm not sure if Scott will be back for that one or not. But we're going to kind of talk about what our favorite Christmas movies is. So be sure to join in for that. That'll be interesting. And by Christmas, we mean movies that fucking take place at Christmas time.
Like Die Hard.
Or like Die Hard. And Lethal Weapon. That happens at Christmas time, too.
Did it?
And then the week after that, we'll probably discuss what constitutes a Christmas film. So,
When I'm gone. Fine.
any parting thoughts? Scott, did you have fun?
I had a blast. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Thanks for coming on, man. I know the first time you pop on here, it takes a little getting used to, that's for sure.
Yeah, it's a little disconcerting. I've never done any podcast of any sort. I've never been invited on my own brother's podcast.
Neither
You don't write much, bitch. I keep telling you that.
I've never been invited either, so don't feel
I
bad.
can still offer things.
I can still offer. I read, bitch.
Oh, he does read. He's a pretty big reader. He and my wife both put me to shame.
Is anybody going to see anything this weekend? I'm going to see Hugo, I think.
I'll go see Hugo. When we come back, I will join in the Wink Fest that movie seems to be enjoying.
Look at that, Brian. You sold some.
Unfortunately, I'll be in Houston this weekend.
Oh, well.
Yeah, I'll be going out of town this weekend, so I won't be seeing much. Probably anything.
Okay. Well, that is it for the Hollywood Outsider. Next time, be sure to tune in. We're going to have more reviews of Hugo, apparently. We'll also be talking about the newest movies that are coming out December 9th, 16th. With that, I want to make sure to thank all the podcasters. Thanks, Justin, Brian, and Scott, for coming aboard.
You're
Thanks for having
welcome.
me.
Absolutely. You can find us on thehollywoodoutsiders.com. That's thehollywoodoutsiders.com. Also on facebook.com/The Hollywood Outsider. You can email us if you want to give us a Stump the Hole question or you want to suggest a flashback. We'd be more than happy to read it on the air at feedback@thehollywoodoutsiders.com. That's feedback@thehollywoodoutsiders.com. We're also on Twitter at @H_outsider. Please remember the next time you go to a movie theater, buy popcorn.
Decision for me letting you go. No time to visit, I just wanna go home. You're never to understand that I'm doing the best I can, and all I know is all I'd rather be home. I'd rather be home. I'd rather be home.
So if you go to the main Skype window and then go to tools and go down to options.
He's got a Mac.
Macs don't have tools
Yeah,
options.
Macs don't have tools options. That's a
Well,
Microsoft thing.
Well, find the fucking
Preferences.
special
It's
magic
usually-
tool button.
Brian, Scott, Brian.
Hello, sir.
I'm shaking your hand.
Yeah, I can feel it. But that's not my hand.
Oh,
Yeah, we don't sound too much alike either.
No. I have a manly voice.
That's right. I've got this gay ass sounding voice. It's all right.
I'm Justin.
It's only
sorry.
helped. It's only helped by your excitement when you hear Brad Pitt's name or Sexiest Man Alive mentioned. Just saying. Yeah, Justin, are you good? Are you still there, Justin?
I'm good to go.
Oh, all right, well,
hey, and
All
just
right, I had myself muted so I wouldn't bother you guys.
He was doing the cleanup.
oh,
You've been on every episode. You keep acting like a guest.
touche. Do you have your you've listened to every episode? Do you have your 3 favorite movies ready?
I do. Matter of fact, my wife and I were discussing it over dinner.
She was telling him what they were.
I'm doing the best I can, and all I know is all I'd rather be home. I'd rather be home. I'd rather be home. You said my love is blind, I just gotta